Hello, my name's Andrea. I'm a qualified nutritionist and chef working at Grinch Pantry, a food business that teaches cookery skills. In this video, we'll be making roast potatoes. We're going to look at how to make them in an air fryer, but you can make them in an oven instead. Joining me today is Ashley from the Stroke Association.
Hello. I have to say I've been really looking forward to this recipe. I love roast potatoes.
You and everyone else, I think. And by doing them in an air fryer, we can really reduce the amount of oil that we use when cooking them.
Okay, great. I should add here that we're not being sponsored or promoted by any particular air fryer brand, or even air fryers in general, but they are becoming really popular, so we wanted to include a recipe.
The prep for this recipe will take between 10 to 15 minutes. If you're cooking in an air fryer, the cooking time will be around 20 minutes. But in the oven, it'll be closer to 45 minutes to an hour. Ingredients we'll be using today, of course, be potatoes. We're going to be using some oil, black pepper, paprika, garlic. This one's in a tube, it's being prepared for us. And herbs, we'll be using oregano today, but you can use whatever herbs you like, thyme, sage, rosemary, whatever you like.
Okay, and we will list those ingredients in the video description below.
So for this recipe, you will need a large bowl, which we've got over here. You also need something to stir with, measuring spoons, chopping boards, and of course your air fryer. So should we get chopping?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to be using your special chopping board.
I am.
To show people how to use one of them.
Yeah, so these can be really useful if you have limited mobility in one hand, because what you can do is you just take your ingredient and you press it onto the spikes here. Do be careful not to hurt yourself with the spikes. We just press that straight on, and then we can use our knife to start chopping. This knife lets you hold your wrist in a slightly more natural position, which some people may find a bit easier. And then all we have to do is chop down.
We're keeping more of the nutrients in potatoes by leaving the skins on them. Just make sure you wash them thoroughly. When we're chopping the potatoes, we're going to try and have them more or less the same size, so not too small.
I think I've gone too small with these.
Not too big for today. I'm going to be using the bridge method again because it stabilises your ingredients, in this case your potato, when you're cutting into it. And it keeps my fingers away from the knife as well. So I'm going to make them about this size, okay?
Okay.
We won't get it exactly the same, but we try. How are you doing?
Doing okay. I find the potatoes are a little hard to lift off of this, so you may want to stabilize it with something heavy, or this may be one where you don't want to use your specialty chopping board. It's entirely up to you.
Okay, well this potato is really large, so the bridge method may be hard for me to use because my hands are not big enough. So I'm going to hold it using what we call the claw method. That also stabilises the potato as well. And then move my fingers back a bit. Okay, so those are all chopped. So what we can do is just put them in our bowl.
Okay. And I'll just take that away.
Okay. We're going to start with our oil. We're measuring the oil.
Now, I'll be honest, I normally, when I'm making roast potatoes, just pour oil straight in.
Okay. You may have been advised by your doctor to reduce your oil. How do you know how to reduce it if you don't know how much you're using?
Very true.
So measuring it will give you an idea of how much you're using. Now, because we're cooking them in the air fryer, we don't need that much oil anyway, so I'm just using a tablespoon. That may be too much for some people,
Yeah.
but we're going to use a tablespoon today.
And what kind of oil are we using?
We're using an unsaturated oil today, and this is a rapeseed oil. We could use sunflower oil or corn oil The reason we're using this is because we've been advised it doesn't raise our bad cholesterol levels. Some people also like to use olive oil, but the only thing with olive oil is that it's really expensive. So it's best to go with one of these oils because they're cheaper.
Okay, great.
With these, you don't really need to measure because they're not going to affect your cholesterol or have any adverse effect on your health. It's about adding flavour to your food. So the black pepper, because it's like this, it's not a shake, I will use a spoon. And you can use as much as you want. So if you want it really hot, put in plenty. If you don't, only put in a little bit. So today, I'm not sure what people's preferences are. I'm only going to put a little bit in. Okay?
Now notice you don't have any salt on there.
No, we don't, because salt can cause problems, especially if you have had a stroke. You've probably been advised not to use salt. That's why we're using more herbs and spices to give you the flavour.
Without needing the salt.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
And that's why you can use them freely as well with salt. No.
Yeah.
So paprika, again, I'm going to take the lid off. And you can put in as much or as little as you want. And then we've got our oregano, quite a big jar, so I'm going to put my fingers in. And garlic, again, this is about taste. If you like it garlicky, put in lots. If you don't, put in a little.
Okay. I did notice when I was looking at that earlier, there is a tiny bit of salt in it. Is
Exactly.
this something you could make yourself?
You could. You could get your garlic and put in a blender. You need to put some oil in there for it to go liquid like this.
Yeah.
But you could put in a blender and make up a batch and keep it in the fridge and go to it whenever you want.
Okay.
There's also oil in this as well, so I will measure this. See the oil coming in out of that?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, it's up to you. You can either use a spoon or you can just put your hands in that and mix
it up.
Do you want me to do that?
Why don't you go ahead?
Okay.
So now presumably, if you are struggling with your mobility, using your hands with maybe something to stabilize the bowl might be a little easier.
Exactly, it would. Also, if you are having problems with your hands and holding a spoon, just sticking your hands in the bowl is probably easier. And maybe having a bowl that's slightly bigger, if your hands are bigger, would make it easier as well. So make sure that all the potatoes are well coated with the oil and your spice mix.
Okay.
Okay, well covered.
Very well covered.
Okay, I'm just going to wash my hands.
Okay.
This air fryer is really easy to use. Just like to pull the drawer out.
Okay.
This one is quite small. It's enough for 1 or 2 people. And you just pour your potatoes in there. You could put a liner in that to help keep it clean, so you don't have to wash it all the time, and just throw the liner away. Pour them in. Put the drawer back in. So this air fryer is really easy to use. On top here we've got something like the oven settings. It goes up to 200 degrees. And then we've got a timer on the side here. It goes up to 30 minutes. The dials are really easy to use. So if you've got any problems with dexterity or strength in your hands, you have to use hardly any strength for that. Also with this one, it's easy just to pull the shelf out, just to check on your ingredients that you're cooking. And it's easy to turn them around with a spoon. Okay. So, would you like to try to use that?
Yeah.
It's already on 200, so I would leave that.
Yeah.
and then just turn it to about 20 minutes.
20 minutes?
Yeah. And you can check it in 20 minutes time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's it?
And that's it.
Oh, wow.
Let's check our potatoes actually. Okay. Look at those.
Oh, those
they look
look
really
great.
nice. Just test them, knife method, and they're cooked.
Great.
Okay?
They smell wonderful.
They do, don't they? See, they're all cooked. So that was 20 minutes.
That's so fast.
So again, I'm going to use a spoon to dish them out on the plate, just in case you haven't got the strength to pick the container up.
Mm-hmm.
If you want them a little bit browner, you can leave them in a little bit longer. There we are. Would you like a taste?
I would love a taste. Here you go.
Thank you. That was really hot.
It's really nice.
Cheers. So potatoes in less than 20 minutes actually.
It's kind of incredible, actually. Oh, excuse me. Please do let us know in the comments if you've tried this recipe out for yourself or if you have any questions. Please like the video and subscribe to our channel if you'd like to see more content like this. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.